Hello my fellow gnomes. Now in the last episode we started building out our NPC system. Now the only problem with this approach is I've only got 2 NPCs, but already I've duplicated all the scripts I have going on. And if I was to keep doing this again and again and again, I'm going to have hundreds of NPCs potentially with hundreds of scripts. And if I ever want to edit the logic for all of these, well, I'm going to have to go and dive into all of those scripts individually. Now, that's not a very good approach to have, and it's going to be a headache for developing the game further. So instead, what I'd like to do is I'd like to create a module loader. So I'm going to go into server script service. I'll create a new script, and we'll call this script module loader. Now, inside of this, we're going to create a folder. The folder we will call modules, and then inside of this we're going to have a couple of module scripts. Now each of these module scripts is going to refer to a class, a kind of object in the game. We're going to use something called CollectionService, and CollectionService allows us to tag all the objects. So we've got one model called Joe, one model called Fred. But if I scroll down, you see on the properties below all its name and position, there's something called tags. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to type NPC, create tag NPC. And you can see it fills up. I'm going to do the same thing for Joe as well. Make sure he is an NPC. Now inside of our module loader, we're going to reference CollectionService, which handles all those tags, as well as server script service, and also run service. I'll explain why later on. So now we want to load all our class-based modules. So we're going to loop through all of the script.modules and we'll get children. So we're getting a list of everything within this folder, and then we're going to have to load in. So we use the require word and require the module. And now we have the module, we can run any functions inside of it. Let's just call this module script test, and inside of test we'll just do a little function test.new. Okay, and that'll just print out I am test. And then we could duplicate test and we could have test2, and test2 could say I am cheese. Okay, so we've got a test and a test2 module, and now we can call the class dot new method, right? Because they both have this dot new, even though the contents are different and otherwise these could be completely different module scripts. But because they both have this dot new method, we can now call it from our module loader. So if I just go and I click run, we should see I am test and I am cheese. But we don't want just to have random module scripts. We want to have these module scripts connected to these tags that we created earlier. So we're going to delete that. We're going to rename it from test to NPC. And inside of this NPC module, it's always a good idea to rename it so we don't get confused. We want to run this npc.new function for every single NPC we have in our game. So we don't have to have multiple scripts, right? We just have this one script that's going to run multiple times using that same behavior for every NPC that we have in the game. So I don't just want to run the class.new function once. I want to run it for every model that we have. And to do this, we're using CollectionService. So I can loop through every object. For I object in CollectionService get tagged, and in this case the tag is the name of the module. So module.name, and then call the class.new method, and we'll supply it the object. So this handles any currently tagged objects, but it's also possible we might want to add new objects during the game while it's running. And so because it's only running once, it's not going to handle those new objects. To handle objects that are being added dynamically, we need to call the get instance added signal. Again, supply the module.name because we're looking for any new NPCs or anything else that might get added. And we'll connect that to our class.new function. So this is to handle newly added instances. So now we're sending the object to the function, or we can then handle it here. So we could have object, and then we could print out new NPC along with the object. So if I run the game now, I should see new NPC Joe, new NPC Fred. Cool. So we know it's recognizing both of our NPCs. Now we can go and set up our custom logic. What I want to do is I want to implement basically what we wrote in the script here. So I could just copy and paste everything over and kind of throw it inside of this new npc.new function. A couple of issues that you might notice though, we're now referring to script.parent of the module script, which is a folder. It definitely doesn't contain a humanoid root part. So we'd need to replace anything referencing the script.parent with this object that we've passed in. So we can say object.humanoid and object.parent and so on. Now, if we do that and we delete the scripts from both of the NPCs, like so, and we run, we'll notice that now in the output, we're seeing Fred moving around as before, which is great. But Joe, well, he seems to be rather sleepy. He's not moving at all. And we can just see it says new NPC Fred, but not Joe. Well, the reason that's happening is because now this is all coming from the one script. Well, because we got this while true loop, that's yielding the whole thing. So we would need to do task.spawn and create a function on a new thread so that it doesn't yield this whole thing. Because remember, we're looping through them all, and if we've suddenly got a while true loop in the middle of the loop, well, we're just going to stay stuck here, and we're never going to get to the instances of the class. So if we run now, we should now see new NPC Fred, new NPC Joe. Awesome. And they're both moving around. Incidentally, you might notice while I'm on run mode, these don't have any animations. Don't worry about that. That's because they are local scripts, so they're only running on the client. If I go and I hit test and I play with my character, you'll see they do have the animations. I'm just going to go back in here and I'm going to try and tidy things up a little bit. So these variables, seeing as they're global, I'm going to move them up here. So at the top of the script, a little bit easier to read. I'm also going to get a reference to the root or the object.humanoid root part, so that we can just say it like that. And I would like to make sure the root has a network owner of the server. So this means that the characters should move around a little bit more smoothly, and none of the clients will suddenly try and take ownership, and there won't be any buffering going on. So that should help. And then one final thing, you might not want the character to be able to bump into the NPCs like this. And you might not want the two NPCs to be able to bump into each other. So if we want to fix that, what we can do is we can set up some collision groups. So you can go to Window, 3D, and select collision groups here. Once you're here, you can add a new group for NPC. And at the moment, we can see that NPCs are colliding with other NPCs. So if you don't want that to happen, just untick it. And then if we wanted to add, say, another group called Player and disable collisions, we could do so easily enough. Add in a player, and we say players can't collide with each other, and they can't collide with NPCs either. So then all you'd need to do is you could create a whole new module for players, but for now we could just add in at the bottom here, player added, connect to that player, and whenever that character's appearance is loaded for a player, and loop through every object inside the character, check that the object inside of it is actually a base part, because we can't set collisions for things like hats or tools or whatever. And then finally assign the collision group to the name we've set up, which is player. And we can just copy this. Oh, wait, I forgot the equals. There we go. And I can copy this little loop, pop this inside of my NPC logic as well. And just down here, instead of looping through the character, it will be the object. And the collision group will be NPC. Now, if I click play and I try and run into these characters, I don't have any collisions anymore. So this is our working module loader for the server. But of course, we've still got animate scripts in each of these on the client. I'm going to go into starter player scripts. I'm going to add in a new local script, and the contents of the module loader, I'm just going to copy over. And we're going to name this local script into module loader 2. And this is going to run on the client, and it's going to have exactly the same modules as the server. Okay, so we're also going to have an NPC logic just for the client, and we're going to be using CollectionService just as before. Obviously, we can't reference server script service here. Now on the client, we're not going to be moving stuff around anymore. So we can delete all of this stuff. We don't need to select the collisions because all this stuff is being done on the server. But what I do want to set up is the animation script. So I'm going to delete this animation script, and this one from Fred, I'm going to move into replicated storage. So this is essentially going to become our definitive copy. We'll set enable to false. So it's just hanging out there in replicated storage, not causing us any problems. And then when the client detects a new NPC, we can just edit our print to show it. We're going to create a copy of that. So let's get replicated storage for ourselves. Delete these variables from earlier, and we'll pull the animation script from replicated storage.animate, clone it, set its parent to the object, and then set it to enabled. So now we've got these two models that haven't got any scripts inside of them. So our workspace itself is nice and clean, and we've got the actual scripts and our module loaders happening inside the script folders. It's going to make things a lot easier to edit for ourselves, and this is what a lot of the big games like to do and structure themselves. If we hit play, oh, we have got an issue, right? Humanoid root part is not a valid member. So what we need to do, instead of just referring to things with dot, it's a good idea to use wait for child, and the same for the humanoid. And we should probably do it for the animate as well, because the client won't necessarily have all the stuff for us straight away. And now here we go. We can see new NPC firing on the server and on the client, and both of these are animated for us. Perfect. Now, it might be a little bit confusing having these two modules both named NPC. I'm certainly finding it confusing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to name it NPC underscore client and NPC underscore server. Now, immediately when I do that, it is going to break things. You can see now nothing's running at all because it's looking for a tag with that name. But how I'm going to fix that is, instead of just blindly using the name of the module script, we can figure out what the suffix is going to be. So run service, if it is the server, then the suffix will be underscore server, or otherwise it will be underscore client. So the tag name that we're looking for is going to be the value of module name minus this suffix. So we can use the string.sub, which allows us to cut up a string and take off bits. So we want to remove the portion that says server or client. In this case, they are the same length, right? But you might have named something different. This is a good way of covering it. So now we have this tag name. We're going to use that instead of module.name here and here. Now, this is exactly the same as our client script logic. So we can actually just copy this whole thing and paste that in like so. And make sure we do, minus hashtag suffix, because we need to be removing off the back of it. So there we go, minus here, minus there. And I'm also just going to make a small change, which is I'm going to swap these around. So reacting to the new instances, we're going to do first. So we're going to put that above the loop that handles the currently tagged objects. And make sure we copy and paste this into the server and the local script. This will just make sure we don't miss any object, especially on the client where things are kind of loading in slowly. We want to get our instance adder signal in early. And now if we hit play, we've got them all working as expected. So there we have it, a happy Fred and Joe wandering around the place. We've got a pretty nifty module loader system set up, just like some of the top games on Roblox. And it's really going to help streamline our process, because whenever we want to add a new type of object, we can do that. If I go on the server here and I just sort of clone Joe, well, look, instantly he's running about. He's doing his own thing. And our module scripter just handles it all. And on the client, they're all animated. And if I ever want to make any changes, well, I can just go into the one script and edit the one line of code that I want to make. So this is in a really good position for moving forward, and I can't wait to keep building out this game. If you want to check out any of the resources for this, then head over to gnomecode.com and the Academy will have all the files there. Of course, you can head over to the Discord to get some help if you're struggling. But until the next episode, I will see you then. Thank you for watching and goodbye.